Alright guys, so today's topic, I thought that I would go a little in depth of my favorite NBA player, which is this guy right here, no longer with the Charlotte Hornets anymore, but 4-time NBA All-Star, 1-time All-NBA, Kemba Walker. Alright, so I wanted to discuss a little bit just about his the changes since he transitioned from the Charlotte organization to the Boston Celtics, and why his numbers have taken a dip, and what I as a fan think about it specifically, because I'm a big Kemba Walker fan. Alright, so far in this season, in this NBA season, since it's been shut down, Kemba Walker played in 50 games, right? He was averaging 31.8 minutes per game, which is solid. I mean, he was an all-star captain. I would have expected at least 33, but they're basically around the same thing. I do know that I feel like the reason why Kemba Walker was an all-star starter this year is specifically because the Boston Celtics were on fire this year. You know, Jason Tatum exploded, Jaylen Brown showed his true potential, and the team just worked together. Like, even Marcus Smart off the bench was wonderful, and Gordon Hayward did his stuff. And this team, I think they were the 3rd seed. They were a 2 seed for a while too. They started out like crazy, but so looking back at Kemba Walker, his numbers have taken a dip for sure. So if we're looking at points, last season in 2018-2019, Kemba Walker averaged 25.6 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. This year, he's dropped down to 21.2 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 4.9 assists. Now, I'm going to go specifically through each of those little columns and talk about each one. So let's start off with points. So obviously his points have taken in what could be considered an enormous dip. I don't think it's one because I know why. But his points per game are down 4.4 from the year prior when he was on fire for the Charlotte organization, and they were close to getting that 8th seed, but it sadly fell down the end of the game and it didn't work out, thanks to Terrence Ross and the Detroit Pistons. Thanks a lot, guys. But, yeah, that's taken a tumble, obviously, because they have Jaylen Brown, they have Jason Tatum, they have a team, and Kemba likes to pass a lot. Now, he's not extremely efficient. For Kemba, as I know him, he's been efficient, but he's not as efficient as he could be. Rebounds, first off, this dude was averaging 4.4 rebounds per game last year. That's insane. This dude is 6 feet tall, averaging 4.4 rebounds for an entire season. And by the way, how many games did he play last year? 82. All 82. Which is insane to me. Just knowing somebody being 6 feet tall, that's crazy, man. Especially in a league of bigs. But his rebounds have gone down 0.3 this year, which isn't that much at all. That hasn't taken itself down at all. But if we're moving on to his assists, now his assists have actually decreased by 1 whole assist, going from 0.9 to 4.9. Right. Now, this actually confused me because I was like, why would Kemba Walker's assists per game go down? Well, I think that's because there are several other different options on the court. First off, I feel like whenever I think of somebody's assist numbers, whenever I'm watching a game, I can't help but think, man, if that person had only made that shot, how many assists would they be averaging, right? So, I think it's gone down specifically just because maybe his minutes, maybe just those little, the less minutes perhaps. I don't think so. You guys let me know about that. 3-point percentage, though, has gone up, and this is what I'm happy about. So last year, he averaged 35.6% from 3-point range. That's not that great, you know, especially for an All-NBA player who's a point guard. Not that great. This year, it's gone up to 37.7%, which is a lot better, especially since he was an all-star captain, or not an all-star captain, maybe one day, but he was an all-star starter this year. That's a lot better. And then free throws, this is what always gets me super excited and happy. Kemba's taking his free throw percentage up 2.3%. So he took it from 84.4%, which is pretty good, to 86.7%, which is kind of like, oh, okay, there you go. You're talking. So now you're like 3.3% off from 90%, that's great. That's pretty good. And if you just get it up to 50-40, then you know what? You're in an exclusive club right there. So his numbers definitely have changed. His turnover ratio has gone down from 2.6 to 2.1, which is a good factor to talk about as well. That's specifically because there are a lot of other people turning the ball over now as well. The Charlotte Hornets, they weren't terrible last year. They started out really bad, and then towards the end of the season, they got everything together. Kemba was working really hard with them. Kemba actually slumped, if you guys remember. He slumped near January, February, March even. So maybe not January, but he was going off in the beginning of the season. If you remember that game against Philadelphia, he ended up dropping 60, and I was going crazy. I was like, oh my goodness, this guy's crazy. But then he kind of dampened down a little bit. But team got it together a little bit, and it seemed fine from my perspective as a fan. I thought he was going to re-sign, and then, they took a different route. They didn't pay Kemba over the offseason, and I was kind of really upset. And he went to Boston, and I was like, great. I like the Lakers. I'm not a bandwagon Lakers fan right now, but just an organization as a whole, I admire the Lakers. But I've been raised saying you can't like the Lakers and the Celtics. It's just how I've been raised. So he's here on the Celtics. I'm like, sorry. I gotta go for both. Which has been fun. It's been really fun watching them for sure. Watching Kemba Walker go crazy. And he fits in Boston. He went out talking about how he was thanking the organization of Charlotte so much for what they did for him, but also went in depth of he wants to play for a crowd. It amps him up when he's playing in Boston. There are so many people watching at TD Garden, and he loves that. And honestly, who wouldn't, But if they take the fans out of the games for a while because of coronavirus, you might as well just go back home to Charlotte. So Kimbo, if you're watching this video, take that into consideration. Nah, I'm kidding. He's got a good deal, and I think things are gonna turn out well for him. But that's it for me today. For right now, just discussing Kemba Walker. Let me know what you think about Kemba Walker, and